Criticism is an angle to life that comes with a lot of emotions. Whether good or bad, we tend to react to critics by judging their words based on what we feel about the judgment they passed. Most people would feel inclined that the criticisms they face aren't doing them any good, especially if the critic is someone they believe to be below their standard. Criticism is really hard to take no matter who you are. After all, we are all swayed by emotions. This is Above Yourself, a leading self-growth and inspiration channel dedicated to helping you improve your life and character irrespective of criticism directed at you. Criticism is one of the major causes of low self-esteem for a lot of people. People feel a strong need to be accepted by everyone, and this has affected their reasoning in so many ways. When there's a reason to doubt one's abilities, it becomes a huge problem for mental health. As some have come to realize, criticism is also a contributing factor to imposter syndrome. Intellectuals often have a hard time believing what others say about them, as they feel inadequate towards the praises and encomiums they get. In most cases, critics talk down on the abilities or excellence of budding intellectuals simply because they feel entitled. And when this happens, we are often faced with the death of another talent simply because someone feels they have a say in the life of another. No matter how we choose to see it, there's absolutely no doubt that criticism is often hard to take. In some cases, it ensures that people never have to try again. They simply give up after getting criticized even for their best efforts. Understand criticism. A lot of times, criticism is wrongly understood. While some people think criticism is a terrible verdict about their work, others assume it is an unnecessary show of emotions. Either way, it's best to understand why criticism abounds and what purpose it serves. Criticism isn't just about the verdict of one or two other persons. It is an ideal look into one's abilities and the processes involved in reaching a conclusion. Truthfully, there would be no excellence without criticism. Criticism also helps to encourage the fighting spirit among the less privileged. In the movie 300, the Spartans were forced to take up arms against the Persians because they have had enough. And strangely, 300 men fought through thousands of soldiers to bring Greece and the rest of the world the democracy they deserve. If the Spartans had chosen to accept themselves as being little or had gotten used to being ridiculed by the Persians, we would not have seen their full potential in many years to come. For this reason, one can always believe that without criticism, we would never know our strengths. Reevaluate your position. When people criticize you, they see two things. One is a human who is on course for great things and deserves all the accolades. Two, a total failure. No matter what, the choice is yours. You can either decide to prove them right by accepting your position or prove them wrong by doing otherwise. Most importantly, criticism will open your eyes to the steps you are supposed to take further or the mistakes you made while trying to do your possible best. Each time you face criticism, you can prepare your mind for what to do. Whether you like it or not, you're always going to get criticized, even for existing. To survive the storm, you must learn from your mistakes or your success. You must never allow yourself to get carried away by the encomiums. And in the same way, never let anyone put you down. Your energy is yours and yours alone. The moment you allow anyone to take that choice away from you, hope becomes a flicker of light from a very far place. Talk less, listen more. While getting criticized, we often feel the need to respond. It's in our DNA to want to make excuses for our excesses, and ultimately there's nothing wrong with this, except that there is everything wrong with this. The truth about criticism is that it makes us see what we fail to realize while creating our masterpiece. It opens our eyes to the possibilities we could have explored to make things better. So, when others talk about your work, the best option is to listen to them more. Even when it feels like you're being misunderstood, it's best to always listen. At that time, you might feel boxed in a corner, Your mind may wander from anger to frustration and even sadness, but it's best to listen. And why? Because there's always something to learn from other people's opinions. Even if their opinions are terrible, you'll eventually feel glad you didn't take that approach in the first instance. Questions. Yes, questions are very important. You already know what the other person is trying to pass across. You feel like they should have listened to your side of the story, but instead, they just concluded based on limited information available. The pressing need would be to start explaining your version of what happened, but in most cases, this would only make the situation worse. What do you do then? You ask questions. By asking questions, you can learn more from your critique. They give you their own opinions even without asking for them. And before you know what's happening, you feel better about your abilities because you've just discovered another way to make things better. As often seen in human nature, asking questions when you're getting criticized lowers your emotional outbursts. It makes you calm and understanding towards the points raised. Be objective. This is perhaps the hardest part of taking. Your work or abilities are best known to yourself alone. When others talk about it, you feel like they know little and say too much about you. For this reason, you always want to defend yourself. Why not remain objective instead? You should always try to see yourself from another person's point of view. It may look difficult, but being objective, especially when it comes to yourself, may prove to be more interesting than you can imagine. Objectivity gives you an in-depth analysis of what you think you have perfectly handled. It opens up the window of opportunities you never even knew existed. Conclude. It may look very tiring, but at the end of the day, you have to come to some sort of a conclusion. You ask yourself if this effort was ever worth it in the first place. Where did you get it right or wrong? What have you learned from the criticism you suffered? Going forward, how do you intend to make things better for yourself? And when you find the answers to these questions, everything just falls into place. Your conclusion will be the driving force behind your acceptance or rejection of the criticism you just faced. Ultimately, you will have to decide whether to accept the opinions passed about you or reject them and move on. It's often hard, but there has to be a finality. Your conclusion will, however, be total assimilation of what you learned so far. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best, but it must teach you a lesson. Interestingly, the ultimate purpose of criticism is to make you realize how good or bad your abilities are, and that's just about what you need to conclude on. The processes involved in criticism may just be too burdensome for anyone to accept. To survive such ordeals, the steps highlighted in this video are at best helpful and relatable. These steps have been known to help a lot of people get through the emotional trouble of accepting or rejecting what others think they know about their abilities. These steps are some of the greatest choices for anyone dealing with criticism at any point in time. It's been a wonderful time sharing these ideas with you, and we're sure you have a thing or two to contribute. Remember to drop your comments down below as we'd love to hear from you. You can also like and share this video because we know others around you will love to watch this video as well. Looking to learn more from us? Subscribe to our YouTube channel by following the prompts on your screen. Turn on notifications by tapping the bell icon next to the subscribe icon right there on your screen. Until next time, it's bye for now.